What's up, Hooligan Nation? We didn't know how to present Kiss Killers, the import, because it's only 4 tracks and the rest of it is a greatest hits compilation. But we're going to film a special segment that will go out on a Wednesday when we usually replay a segment from a prior full episode. So enjoy this special segment on what we think is such an important record to the Kiss comeback. This is the first time the band uses Michael James Jackson, and although I wish Ace Frehley was part of the 4 new tracks, he is not. But Bob Kulick steps in and does an amazing job. This is the bridge from The Elder to Creatures of the Night. Killers came out June 15th, 1982. It was recorded at the record plant in Los Angeles. It's a total length of 46 minutes, 35 seconds. It came out through Casablanca Records. It is the first time that Kiss works with Michael James Jackson. He produced all 4 of the new tracks.
Good producer.
Yeah, Michael James Jackson is a interesting,
Or at least with Kiss, good producer.
he's an interesting figure, I think, in history. Man, his background I don't think was anything in this genre of music, and between Killers and Creatures and Lick It Up.
To me, everything he touched with Kiss turns to gold.
Yeah,
Definitely a match made in heaven with them, him and the band.
Yeah, it seems that combination of Gene and Paul and Michael James Jackson just works so well. I'd love to. I mean, I know when it came to Animalize that he had other things that he couldn't get out of, which is why he stepped away from Animalize. But I would have loved, it's that same thing that we do almost every episode, the what ifs. What if Michael James Jackson would have come back and produced Asylum? Would they have gone that far into that 1980s pop metal sound, or would he have kept them on the track of Killers, Creatures, Lick It Up? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night.
Well, I know the band as a whole, they always wanted to try to kind of stay in line with what's going on at the time. Like I said, almost everything he did with them came out really good. And I've gone on YouTube trying to search to see if I can find interviews with him, and it's really hard to find good information with him other than stuff he's done without, away from Kiss.
Three Sides of the Coin has I believe that's where I saw it. They have an interview with Michael James Jackson. It's a really good interview too.
Oh, cool.
He's one of those guys that it seems like the producers are always the best interviews. Eddie Kramer, Bob Ezrin, at least Kiss wise, I always enjoy getting the producer's point of view on these albums. Three Sides of the Coin's got an interview with Bruce Fairborn that produced Psycho Circus. It's a really good interview. He just goes out of his way to try to be politically correct throughout the interview, but it's still a good interview. Album artwork design is done by Howard Marks Advertising. I personally love this album cover.
I like it too.
I can't exactly tell you why. I like the color combinations. I love the new look. This is really the first record that they present the new look. You get a sense of change of direction coming, seems to me, by the looks of this record. I don't know why, but I can remember seeing this record in the record store. It just looked the part, and then the 4 new songs backed it up. To me, there it is. Look at you with the vinyl version.
I listen to it like crazy, man. And to me, the album pops. The artwork really pops to me.
Yeah, I think it's a great album cover. It's simple, but it pops out. I like it good enough that it's one of the pictures in my background, so that tells you a lot. Hit the songs, Curly.
All right. So the first one is actually one of my favorite Paul songs all time. A Legend Tonight. Um, Paul does the writing with Adam Mitchell, and if you remember from a prior episode, Adam Mitchell was a Scottish songwriter. He worked with Kiss on Killers, Creatures, Crazy Nights, and Hot in the Shade. Um, what I have for that song is I have funny memories of it. Um, I'll make it quick. Um, for whatever reason, this song really hit me hard. I love the rhythm, and I remember me and my mullet, long hair days, going crazy in the afternoon after school, listening to this and playing air guitar. And my grandmother, my grandparents lived downstairs, and my grandmother walks in the door in the middle of me playing air guitar and being like a spaz. So I just got a funny memory of it. But I love that song. It's one of my favorite Paul songs. There's a great opening guitar riff into a guitar slide. I love that riff. It's a great song carried by basically the song's carried by the rhythm guitar. Um, as I said, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And I love Paul's voice in this too. It's just one of those songs that always grabbed me. So it's definitely, I'd say, top five of Paul from Paul. It's a simple song. It's not a real, you know,
I
but
love when you do that. You got 50 top 5 Paul Stanley songs now.
yeah,
Yeah,
I always say that, but I'm just trying to emphasize how much I love this song.
I know. I love the song. I love the simplicity of the guitars. Bob Kulick
Absolutely.
Bob Kulick captures the essence of what made Ace such a great guitar player.
That's a good take.
I mean, you could like you can almost tell like this is revisionist history because we all now know Bob Kulick played guitars on the record. We all now know that there were ghost musicians everywhere throughout. But I at the time when it was all a secret, like, you can tell that it's not Ace. I can tell it's not Ace,
Oh
but
no.
I also know it's not Ace, and that probably helps making it sound different, but Bob Kulick, the melodic solos, the knowing just enough to
Mhm.
how to do just enough, not going overboard, not doing too little. It just comes through to me through all 4 of these songs. Like Bob Kulick went in there, it seems to me like to capture the essence of the Ace and did a very good job. And the attitude comes out in the song. Like
Mm.
it comes through to me as a harder pop metal song.
Yeah.
It's somewhere between Unmasked and Creatures of the Night, which is kind of in the right, it's in the right timeline, but it comes through as, oh, we like that pop sound in Unmasked, but we really want to sound harder. And that seems to be all 4 of these songs do a little bit, but it seems to me like I'm a Legend Tonight is the most perfect combination of that pop sound and the metal harder sound. And, you know, you can put an attitude in a song and still have pop elements of it.
All right. Well,
Uh,
just to continue from where you about the Ace thing, like, and again, me and you go back and forth a lot with Ace, but the one thing that really shows Ace's greatness is when he's on something. There's no way to tell. There's no way to not know that that's Ace, and that's the credit to a guy putting his own mark on a guitar solo.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Good song altogether. It's a good start. It's 1982. You just wasted your hard-earned money on The Elder. You go to the record store and you look at the album cover and you go, "Well, at least it isn't a brown door with a hand." Hmm. Well, let's see. And then you take it home and kids these days, they don't remember the fact that we used to sit in our bedrooms and stare at the album cover and read every little thing that came with the record. And I just imagine that, as you're looking at the picture and you're reading this stuff, you know, who the hell is Michael James Jackson? Uh, I wonder what this is gonna sound like. And then you put it on, and first track is I'm a Legend Tonight. And again, like I said, for Creatures of the Night, I can't imagine how many Kiss fans said, "Oh, thank God."
Well, the other thing is too, you're really big on how you start and finish an album. And I'm a Legend Tonight is a great opening song. It's
It,
a
it it's
you know,
one of the most I think it's one of the most underrated talents that Kiss put forth. They didn't do so well on the end of the albums,
Rock Hall
but
Park.
yeah, exactly. But album openers, I they did really good work at putting the right song first, and I think this is a great song to start out the record. I mean, it had to give people a relief. Oh my God, Kiss is back. This is just plug in, play the song. We're not trying to get cute. We're not trying to be disco. We're not trying to be pop. We're not trying to give a concept. We're just trying to be Kiss.
There's a saying that I've heard a lot. You're trying too hard, bro. And like those other albums, you're trying too hard, bro. And like on this, it's like let me go rock and roll. Here it comes.
All right, song 2.
We have Down on Your Knees. Paul writes it with Michael Japp, who is a Welsh musician, songwriter. Paul's solo. He did some work on Paul's solo album, Killers and Creatures. Um, what I have for that is there's a drum beat intro into a really cool riff. It's a nice groove. My overall take on this song is just a really good groove.
Yeah, I love the drums. They give you a hint of how the drums are going to sound on Creatures. It's not quite to the level of Creatures, but it's creeping up to that level. The chorus is great. Another song with attitude. It's just another good Kiss song, which
Yeah,
is that they needed to churn out just good, simple Kiss songs, and so far they're 2 for 2.
absolutely. And then you go to side two. I mean, the other songs on side one are Cold Gin, Love Gun, Shout It Out Loud, and Sure Know Something. Obviously, it's a compilation. So then you go to side two with the new songs, and you have the first song on side two, Nowhere to Run. Uh, and then Nowhere to Run, Paul does the writing and the singing. And what I have for it is a really cool acoustic feel into the electric guitar. Um, I really like just using that for the intro. I love the flow of the song, and the chorus is really good with the harmonies. Another really good song, and I like Paul's voice on this a lot too.
It makes me laugh. Some of these people that listen to us and watch us must think that we compare notes to sound very much alike. I promise you we don't.
No, we don't.
I put great acoustic intro. I love the roller coaster that this song puts me on, and I love the guitar solo.
Mm.
I mean,
It's a very tasty solo.
Bob Kulick shows his talents
Yeah.
on this record. Nobody at the time knew it was Bob Kulick, but he did show his talents on this record.
All right, which brings us to the second song on side two, which is the last of the new songs on this, on Killers, Partners in Crime. Um, what I have for that, Partners in Crime, Paul does the writing with Adam Mitchell. Paul does the vocals. I put it's kind of a lazy rhythm vibe to the start of the song. It's cool though. I like it. Not a song that I skip. I'm kind of a middle of the road kind of song though. I put it's a lot. I compare it not sound wise, but song level wise of Kiss to like Plaster Caster. It's a song I like, but I consider it like middle of the road.
I think there's great guitars on this song. I think,
I like
whoever,
it.
whether it be Paul or Michael James Jackson or even Gene, whoever it is, they kind of take the shackles off of Bob Kulick a little bit on this track and let him go, which sounds really good to me. I think it's a well written, and more importantly, I think it's a well structured song that's a little more edgy with a little more attitude. And I think all four of these tracks are a great hint at what's to come on Creatures. And if I would have got this record on June 15th, 1982, I would have been extremely excited for what was going to come next. Because of I thought Partners in Crime isn't a middle of the road song to me. I don't know where I could slot it, but
I like it. It's just got a, and it's unique. It's definitely a unique sound. It's got like a, it's kind of lazy grooving vibe. I like it. But like for me, it's kind of middle of the road, but I do like it. It's got its own sound, its own
yeah,
vibe to it.
yeah, I think all four of them were 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 probably really needed to be the songs that they were.
Hmm.
Kiss
It's
really needed this.
it's definitely not a C. It's at least a B. If we're going A, B, C, D, it's definitely at least a B. But like I said, it's not.
Yeah, I'd give it a
It's
B.
cool.
I mean, if we're giving letter grades now, I'd give it a B. I'd give it a solid B. I wouldn't give it a B minus, and I wouldn't give it a B plus, but I'd give it a solid B. Hey, Kiss Army, we work hard on this podcast and try to give you the best content possible. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Also, the podcast is now on all the podcast platforms. So please like and follow us there and give us some 5-star reviews. It really helps us out.
And while you're there, let us know if there's any KISS subjects that you would like us to cover in future episodes. We thank you for being part of the hooligan community.
You got anything else for Killers? To me, you can't overstate the importance of these 4 tracks. You can't overstate the importance of the relationship between Michael James Jackson and Kiss. In my opinion, he's a very underrated Kiss producer that I'm pretty sure Michael James Jackson never produced one bad Kiss song.
I will second that motion.
I mean, all 4 on Killers is great. The entire Creatures of the Night album is great. Lick It Up, to me, tends to tail off towards the end, but there's no bad songs on it. That relationship is so understated, the importance of it, because of where they were and what they needed to produce. This is the catalyst for the Kiss comeback from progressively moving farther away from what they do. Dynasty, then Unmasked, then Music from the Elder. By the time they get to Music from the Elder, they're so far away from what they're supposed to be. They needed to start digging themselves out of the hugest hole, and this was a damn good start.
Uh, Two more things. I just so if you don't have this album, the last of the compilation songs on side 2, Detroit Rock City, God of Thunder, I Was Made for Loving You, and Rock and Roll All Night, the live version. I really like to know Gene and Paul. I'd like to hear them talk about him. I'd really like to know, because to me it seems like the music that was produced seems like the relationship that they had and being able to really collaborate must have been good, had to be good.
It's kind of funny because I never paid attention really to this before this podcast came about, but everybody links Bob Ezrin with Kiss because Destroyer. Most people's opinions are Destroyer is the best Kiss record. I'm not sure that I agree anymore. And everybody talks about Bob Ezrin. And look, I'm not taking anything away from Bob Ezrin. Destroyer and Revenge are two great records. Music from the Elder is sitting in the middle. And I really got to tell you, if I was to list producers, I think Michael James Jackson and Eddie Kramer would be fighting each other for the top spot. I do. I think Michael James Jackson, you know, whether it was Paul and Gene that were creating the comeback, you got to give Michael James Jackson some kind of credit in there for what they ended up producing with him.
You know what's interesting? Like it's you can you know how like a guitarist, like I've said before with Ace, you can really tell a certain guitarist, they make their sound and what they do. With producers, you can, especially with Kiss, you can really see their flavor of what they brought to the table with each of the Kiss albums.
Absolutely. And 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 the Michael James Jackson era may be the most. It may be I mean, nobody knows, and it's funny that you brought that up because I don't think I've ever seen any interview where Paul or Gene talk about Michael James Jackson.
Yeah,
I would love to hear that. So, Paul or Gene, if you're watching the podcast, and we know you watch it, probably not. But if you are and you want to come on here and talk about Michael James Jackson, we
come
would
on down.
love to talk to you about that. Because unfortunately, Michael James Jackson died in, I think he died in 2022 from COVID related pneumonia.
Huh.
So that's a shame. And I don't think he was that old either. He was early 70s, I think, when he died. So that's a shame.
Like I said, Killers, like it was an impact for the band, but it was impact for me. I'm a Legend Tonight is, like I said, one of my all-time favorite Kiss songs. I listen to, and that's the most, that vinyl album is the one I listen to the most out of all the vinyl albums. Because I listened to a lot of the music on cassette. And I had Peter Criss's solo album on 8-track.
Oh, well, that's probably where it should have stayed. All right, Hooligan Nation. We hope you liked this special segment on Kiss Killers, the import. If you like this episode and you are on our YouTube channel, check out this episode that we're going to put up right here. One of these two episodes that we're going to put up right here. And don't ever forget, if it's too loud, you are too old. Peace out, Hooligan Nation.